Hey, hair
Hey there,
friends.
friends. Hi, Holly.
Hey, Holly, how are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Good. Week 2, podcast 2 with you. We're really excited you came back to chit chat.
Oh, yes.
Part 2, color with the headless hairdresser on TikTok. Holly is going to break down, continuing the conversation with color, types of hair color, and formulating strategies. But first, we want to give a quick shout out to Salon Service Group. Tristan, there's a new hairdryer in the
there?
market. Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh.
the talk of the town.
I think it's the talk of the whole town for sure. It is the Evolution Blow Dryer by U-Smooth. Check it out. It has magnetic attachments. Rose gold, too, is the magnet part. It's fabulous. It's luxurious. I'm in love with it. But not only does it have magnetic attachments, it's travel-friendly because it's compactable. It is very lightweight, and it does get extremely warm, extremely cool, and extremely hot for your clients. It's an amazing blow dryer. Check it out, evolutionblowdryerusmooth.com.
It looks so sleek.
It is super sleek.
Yeah, I love it. Now, and as I'm growing out my hair, I can't wait to start using a hair dryer more regularly.
I've been using it since May 1st, and I'm absolutely in love with it.
Well, now that you can say attachments.
Attachments.
That was a
I know.
hard word
Last
for
week
him.
I could not say, or the week before I could not say attachments. I'm like magnetic. Anyways, that's all in the past.
Oh, it's
How
in
are
the
you
past.
today?
How are you doing today, Holly?
I'm doing great. Just got my coffee here and I am just ready to just
Dive in.
type.
Well, today Derek's going to be starting out for us.
I used to dye my hair. Speaking of diving, color. I used to apply color. I used to bleach. I used to dye it when it was called dyeing your hair. Now you don't say that anymore. But I used to do all the things. And I never knew the difference between demi-permanent, semi-permanent, temporary.
Sure.
As a client, I didn't know what I was putting on my head. I didn't know how long it was going to last.
Sure.
How do clients know which one they're using and what makes them different?
And what's best for them?
It honestly kind of depends on what they're going for, but we've got 4 different types of hair color. We've got permanent, demi-permanent, semi-permanent, and temporary. And I've got that listed of like how long those last. So permanent, it chemically changes the structure of your hair. It dissolves pigment from the ammonia and then deposits a pigment artificially into the hair. So that's usually good for if you're trying to do a gentle lift with somebody, or if you're trying to cover some pretty intense gray hair that's very stubborn. And then you've got demi-permanent, which is more or less kind of the same, but it doesn't go through that dissolving of natural pigment in the process. So it just deposits artificial pigment into your natural pigment without exposing undertones. I personally use a lot of demi-permanent over permanent color, but I do use it sometimes. And
You use it over.
Yeah. Demi-permanent is a very good gloss or a reglossing, refreshing. So sometimes if you've already done a permanent color, you can actually do a demi on the ends because then it won't oversaturate and get too dark on you.
Yep, absolutely. And if you've already dissolved those pigments, it's unnecessary to use permanent color for glossing or toning or anything like that.
I hope everybody's listening to that because it's such an importance. A lot of people think that we need to keep on putting permanent all over on zone 2 and 3 of the hair, but I keep on saying just gloss it, put the permanent at the new growth. If it's already been done once, you're good to go.
So it goes from permanent to demi-permanent, and then what is the difference between demi and semi?
So semi-permanent is just a pigment stain. There is no chemicals in it that will chemically change the structure of your hair. So it basically just kind of sits just under the cuticle layer, but it does sometimes need some sort of lifting or dissolving of pigments like bleaching or a color remover to remove them sometimes. It depends on the porosity of your hair, but generally they're not damaging at all. It's very almost like the same consistency as conditioner. So it's not going to damage your hair virtually at all, but trying to remove it could cause damage. And then temporary, oh, go ahead.
No, please go. Please. That was the next question.
And then temporary, it just sits right over the top of your cuticle. This is going to be your pigmented gels and your Halloween hairsprays and your root sprays, things like that. And those just get washed out after every use. So they do not last at all.
So what would you consider the new trending? Okay, so we in the salon, we've made these where we put color in a conditioner, but now a lot of places are coming out with this over-pigmented conditioner, right? And sometimes it seems to stain a little harder than what, it appears. So when that does that, what would that be considered to you? Would it be a stain? Would it be a semi? Would it be a demi?
I would still consider it a semi-permanent, but I am unsure as to how or why they get those pigments to stick.
I don't either. I cannot think of it myself.
So you would have to probably just treat it as if they have almost permanent color in their hair, even though scientifically it's not, because it takes that much effort to remove sometimes, depending on the porosity and how many times they used that conditioner, how many layers of the pigment are on their hair and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Well, so of course, as a blonding specialist and someone who's like super passionate about the blonding experience, when it comes to formulating strategies on toners, fillers, pre-toners, tell us a little bit about that.
So your formulating strategy, there's a couple of key elements that you need in order to formulate. You need to know where you're starting. You need to know where you want to go, your goal color, the porosity of the hair you're working on, and their hair history. All of those elements will kind of come into play when you are formulating your toners, your fillers, and your pre-toners. I just wanted to go over the difference between a toner, a filler, and a pre-toner.
Yes, please.
Pre-toners and fillers are kind of the same concept. You're just doing a step before you finish. So a filler is generally replacing pigment that's missing in the hair, like, your golds, your reds, your warm tones. And then a pre-toner is to try and neutralize the tone that you have for your next step. So for instance, if you wanted a really pretty pastel pink or something kind of like my hair, you would want to pre-tone all of the yellow out, because if you put pink over yellow hair, it's going to go kind of peachy.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. You got to pre-tone that out, and then they'll have the pure canvas.
So the pre-toning is kind of like priming the wall before you paint it.
Hello. Yes, for the analogy.
Listen.
Yes.
I'm from Missouri. My granddaddy was a carpenter. I'm talking about painting walls. If I make an analogy into construction, I can get with it.
I do a board for split ends. I have gotten everybody to understand that the board will continue to split unless you cut the board off. That's the same with the hair.
Yeah.
Everybody understands it. So sometimes breaking down a good analogy is wonderful for a hair friend.
Absolutely. I also have another good analogy for like color correcting. It's kind of the same concept as trying to remove wallpaper off a wall. So when you try to remove it, sometimes it comes off real easy and sometimes it comes off in big chunks and it's just a huge mess.
Consider it stolen.
Yeah, consider it stolen. And then, so that was toners, fillers, and pre-toners?
Yes. So, and then toners, it's basically just to put in pigment to get to your goal. Let me show you on the little color wheel here. So let's say we've got our yellow undertone here, and we want to be obviously like neutral. Then you would want to put like a purpley color over the top to neutralize it. But I prefer to cocktail pigments together to make a nice reflection. That it does get a little bit more complicated, but for instance, we'll kind of just go over like platinum blonde hair. So we want to neutralize this yellow tone with purple, but that makes the hair kind of go a grayish, kind of a flat color. So we want to add back in some gold. I know it sounds really, because this yellow is too harsh. So we want to add some yellow back in for reflection, but sometimes it just kind of brings that a little bit too close to over here. So we want to add a little bit of ash too. So it kind of keeps it neutral, but the way that it reflects in different lighting, it just, just makes
I'm
more.
trying to convince the world right now that you have to put a splash of gold into your platinum cards to make them feel bright, because a true platinum card is not white or silver. It's there's like a small gold iridescent like tonality to it. And I think the hairstylists are going to win this battle. Put the splash of gold in.
Just a splash of gold. Well, and you are just a rock star, honestly.
So
You've got
smart.
the guitars in the background. You've told us everything we could possibly need to know about color. I'm sure you have so much more to share with our hair friends. Where can they find you on social media?
So my social media handles are Headless Hairdresser. I am on Instagram, TikTok. I am also on Facebook. I don't use it that much, but I do have Facebook. And then my website, headlesshairdresser.com.
Headlesshairdresser.com. I love that.
And you, again, we want to give another call out to the organization that we are supporting on your behalf, Oceana. We are offering the promo code Oceana25 at hairfriendhaircare.com or myhairfriend.com, where you can use that code to receive 25% off your entire purchase, and 5% goes to the organization. Will you speak a little bit about the organization and how they're helping to save the ocean?
Yes, absolutely. Oceana, I think they've got like millions of like square miles, maybe. Yeah, 1.5 million square miles that they've already like tried to protect and clean out. It's honestly just, it breaks my heart, and it's really disgusting how much plastic is in the ocean and out of the ocean. And
Just shampoo bottles itself, every year, 550 million bottles. Just shampoo bottles itself, a year. I know. So
Yeah,
let's put a dent in that together.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are doing our part at HairFriend Hair Care. Every bar that we sell of shampoo or our signature conditioner, $1 goes to the Plastic Pollution Coalition. You can find out more about their initiatives, including No Plastic July, at plasticpollutioncoalition.org. And we just want to thank you so much for coming on the HairFriend Network, for sharing your wisdom, your color theory knowledge. I feel like I learned so much today, and
I told you you would too.
some shocking tidbits and pro tips on color correction.
Thank you for gifting your knowledge to all the hair friends out there. We really do appreciate you. And thank you for also gifting it on your TikTok platform. You don't have to do that. I fell in love with you. I know many people are falling in love with you, so keep it going.
Very educational, very hair friend. And I guess until next time,
Cheers hair friends.
oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys inviting me onto your podcast. I had a lot of fun today. It was my very first time.
Thank
Yay.
you. Well,
And if you're tuning in now, you can find us every Wednesday at 8:30. Our podcast airs on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and if you want to see the show, tune into the HairFriend Network on the YouTube channel.
Yep, check out hairfriendhaircare.com, myhairfriend.com, and the Headless Hairdresser will be our hair friend of the moment featured.
Yep.
Again, her organization will be there. Our new product will be out in June, so be excited for HairFriend Hair
It
Care.
could be days from when this airs, so check it out.
Hair
we're
Friends.
just super excited, guys. Have a great hair day.
Have a great one. Cheers again.
Yay. Bye.